From Washington, D.C., this is the 22nd Annual David Burke Awards.
Hello, and welcome to this year's David Burke Distinguished Journalism Awards ceremony. My name is Laurie Moy. Each year, the U.S. Agency for Global Media honors excellence in journalism with an award named after its founding chairman. David Burke was committed to the democratic principle of a free press. He had a storied career serving as the president of CBS News, as well as vice president and executive vice president of ABC News. So it's only fitting that the Burke Awards recognize superior accomplishments made by professionals across USAGM, whether reporting critical information to underserved audiences or providing safe and secure means of accessing that information. Before we get started with the awards, I'd like to introduce you to USAGM CEO Amanda Bennett. She is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, investigative journalist, and editor, and served as the director of Voice of America from 2016 to 2020. She was selected by President Biden to lead the agency and confirmed by the Senate. Here now is Amanda Bennett.
Hello, and welcome to the U.S. Agency for Global Media's 22nd Annual David Burke Distinguished Journalism Award ceremony. I am so grateful to be here today to celebrate an extraordinary group of people, the best of our agency, and just a few of the people who exemplify our mission to inform, engage, and connect people around the world in support of freedom and democracy. The work we do to provide accurate and reliable news information around the world is getting more important and more dangerous every day. And as you are about to see, we have risen to that challenge. The individuals we are about to recognize represent each of our public service media networks. Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty, bravely delivering truth from a war zone. Radio Free Asia, reporting the facts despite facing incredible media repression. The Office of Cuba Broadcasting and their refusal to abandon hope in Cuba. And the Middle East Broadcasting Networks, working tirelessly to provide a picture of the democratic process to people in countries where free elections do not exist. We will also recognize individuals from the Open Technology Fund who provide critical technological support to circumvent internet censorship, and the Office of Technology, Services, and Innovation, who work to keep our journalists safe. Together, these individuals represent USAGM around the world, and they represent the very best in all of us and in all we do. And so it is with pride and gratitude that I present this year's David Burke Distinguished Journalist Awards.
Thank you, Amanda. Now let's get started with the awards. One of the most significant news stories in 2022 was the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Journalists from USAGM networks played a crucial role in bringing fact-based reporting on the war, as well as on regional and international reaction, to audiences in Ukraine and around the world. Here to recognize a team that immediately rose to that challenge, demonstrating intelligence, ingenuity, and courage, is Voice of America Acting Director Yolanda Lopez.
As Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022, VOA's Ukrainian service rose to the challenge by expanding coverage on all platforms. With almost no additional resources at the early stages of the conflict, reporters, writers, videographers, producers, and editors each rallied with a single purpose: to deliver truth to the Ukrainian people about the war. They did so at a time when torrents of misinformation and disinformation from Russia were flooding the media landscape. As a result, the service added 5 hours of weekly Ukrainian language video and TV content, doubled its web and social media output, and delivered in-studio analysis of major related events in Washington, D.C. VOA's Ukrainian service also broadcast numerous high-impact speeches, often from U.S. government officials, featuring simultaneous translations into Ukrainian. The launch of The Daily Briefing, a television show capitalized on the service's social media audiences and provided a strategic and effective two-way channel of communication between reporters, viewers, and netizens. This product proved a crucial lifeline for many Ukrainians who fled to Poland to take refuge during the war. As the invasion unfolded, millions of Ukrainians turned to VOA for live, fact-based reporting. VOA Ukrainian programming served as a critical news source for other media outlets. And it wasn't only for Ukraine. The work of VOA's Ukrainian service also served audiences around the world, many of whom turned to VOA to follow the ongoing crisis in Ukraine and to better understand how the events related to their own lives. In the year following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, VOA's coverage of the war attracted more than 2 billion video views and millions of engagement actions across social media platforms, as well as nearly 70 million visits to VOA websites. Interest was global, especially from audiences in China, Vietnam, Iran, Latin America, Indonesia, Georgia, Albania, and Myanmar. VOA Ukrainian brought to light not only the human tolls of war, but how ordinary Americans have responded. One story featured a 7-year-old girl from Illinois who, after learning about the suffering in Ukraine, persuaded her father to start a large project to deliver ambulance cars to Ukraine. Just this one feature alone received widespread attention, and it generated over 3 million video views and more than 275,000 comments, reactions, and shares. Videos by courageous VOA reporters on the ground showed the devastation of the war and documented evidence of war crimes committed in Ukraine, and VOA Ukrainian coverage informed discussions about possible war crimes persecutions. Of course, the war presented unprecedented challenges to the service's reporting, including a personal toll most of our colleagues experienced while covering a conflict in which their own families and friends living in Ukraine were personally affected. Despite daily coverage of the war, its devastation and loss of life, the VOA Ukrainian team delivered time and again and continues to earn the trust of VOA audiences around the world. I couldn't be more proud and impressed by the dedication, hard work, and exceptional professionalism of the VOA Ukrainian service. For that reason, this year's Network Burke Awards winner is the VOA Ukrainian service.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to accept the David Burke Award on behalf of the Voice of America Ukrainian Service for our exceptional coverage of the events following Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24, 2022. This award is a testament to the hard work and dedication of our team, who went above and beyond to deliver accurate and informative news to our audience. The events that unfolded in Ukraine following the invasion were some of the most challenging and complex in the recent history, and our team was committed to delivering comprehensive coverage of the situation on the ground and the world's response. We dramatically increased our coverage on TV, web, and all digital media platforms to combat Russia's propaganda and disinformation narratives directed towards Ukraine. Serving as a de facto Washington bureau for our affiliates in Ukraine, we provided first-hand reporting on the America's response. We partnered with independent journalists in many regions of Ukraine to obtain exclusive reports of the developments on the ground, which we shared with the world. We told incredible and moving stories of the communities in America who stood up to support democratic aspirations of Ukrainian people and their fight for freedom. The Ukrainian service of Voice of America gained the trust of Ukrainian audience and saw record-setting viewership and engagement numbers on all digital platforms in 2022. We thank the judges and organizers of the David Burke Awards for recognizing our achievements, and we will continue to strive for excellence in our work. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to VOA's Ukrainian service. Reporting from a war zone requires an unwavering commitment to journalism and a great deal of sacrifice. Our next group of winners have endured lengthy separations from loved ones, grave health concerns and injuries, and an unparalleled stress of working in high-risk reporting environments. Here to recognize their sacrifices and their excellence to journalism is Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty President and CEO, Jamie Fly.
These journalists have suffered greatly during this period. As their homes and values are under attack, they have endured lengthy separations from loved ones, grave health concerns and injuries, risky reporting environments, and even the death of a beloved colleague, Vera Hirich. On April 28, 2022, Vera was killed in a Russian missile attack on her home in Kyiv. The reporting we are honoring today would not have been possible without her. Join me in congratulating Marian, Sergei, Roman, Yaroslav, Boris, and Andrei, the recipients of this year's David Burke Distinguished Journalism Award.
Would like to begin with a couple of flashbacks. In one instance, a year ago, a man came out of his home. His wife promised to follow him in a moment. The man was walking towards his car when he saw a Russian warplane. Then a bomb smashed into the house. We saw that man when the rescuers were sorting through the rubble. The man stared at every stone. I don't know his thoughts at that moment, but remember him peering into every stone while rescuers searched for his wife's body. After that, I have seen many tragic episodes happening in Ukraine. Sometimes I could neither eat nor sleep for quite a while, but I realized that I needed to keep doing my work so that the world could see those crimes against humanity. Me and my colleague camera operator Vasily Martyshenko are working now in the east of Ukraine to show the war as it is, and we do this job despite all risk, including, for example, coming under small arms or artillery fire while moving to the filming locations. Once Russian artillery opened fire on us as we were going to the Ukrainian forces' positions, so we had to run. At that moment, I asked myself if we were going to shoot a report or were running like soldiers in an attack order. Although we had only a camera and a microphone in our hands, but I understand that this is not in vain. The world must know the truth, and I am grateful that you recognized our efforts. I thank you for the awards. Thank you. This is a great honor for me and my fellow camera operator.
Ми раді тому, що нас нагородили. Це приємно. Однак ми працюємо не заради нагород чи визнання. Ми працюємо, тому що це актуальна подія України і сьогодення. Для нас важливо бути тут, на цьому місці, там, де війна. Тому що це важливо для всього світу. Показувати правдиву, чесну картинку. Радіо Свобода дає таку можливість, і ми щиро раді цьому.
The world has to know. This is the one of the rules that motivates me to be a journalist. The war in Ukraine has been going on for more than a year now. For me, it started in Bakhmut, a city that Ukrainians call a fortress, a city which has now become a symbol of perseverance. After that, there was a Kyiv defense operation with the shocking consequences of Russian terror. They occupied Kharkiv and Kherson regions, and now we are here near Bakhmut again. This year was a test of endurance for many Ukrainians, including hundreds of journalists covering the war in Ukraine. It was a year of adrenaline and coffee, a year full of the sound of gunfire and smell of gunpowder, and in the moments of fatigue, fear, doubts, and sometimes despair, I always think about this phrase, the world has to know. It is a big honor for me and for my colleague, camera operator Sergei Dekun, to accept a Burke Journalism Award it means that the world is not indifferent. It means that the world wants to know. And it means that my work and work of hundreds like me has a reason. So thank you, and as many Ukrainians say, дякую.
Чому я працюю на війні? Це історичні моменти моєї країни, і я не можу бути осторонь історії своєї країни. І поки моя робота як фотографа є доречною на цій війні, показуючи правду про війну в моїй країні, я буду це знімати. І завдяки Радіо Свободі у мене є ця можливість показувати правду про війну в моїй власній країні.
Huge thanks for the award. Unfortunately, the reason why we receive it, a full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, is far from its end. So we still have a long way to go and to highlight all the events, tragic ones, that happen in Ukraine because of it. And doesn't matter how long it will take, we have to be here.
Дякую. Дуже приємно отримати цю нагороду. Я розумію, що це визнання роботи всієї редакції Радіо Свобода, телеканалу «Настоящее время», всіх колег, які працюють на фронті, які працюють під загрозою ракетних обстрілів в усіх куточках України. Це визнання ще раз підтверджує, що ми намагаємося робити нашу роботу якнайкраще. Заради головного, заради нашої аудиторії, яка прагне об'єктивної і неупередженої інформації, що є дуже важливим під час війни.
Congratulations to each of those RFERL frontline journalists. In the Western Hemisphere, Cuba remains the most media-restricted country, making USAGM's work on the island critical for people to access fact-based and uncensored news. One critical topic on which people sought information in 2022 was the outbreak of dengue fever. Here to recognize the extraordinary work of bringing life-saving information to their audiences is Office of Cuba Broadcasting Director Sylvia Rosapal.
The Cuban regime has touted, since the beginning of the revolution, the healthcare system as one of its greatest successes. Today, the crisis in healthcare is obvious, and the lack of doctors on the island is one of the causes. One of the reasons for the shortage of medical personnel is Cuba's international medical missions, which exports its doctors for monetary gain. The U.S. State Department's own Annual Trafficking in Persons Report and Annual Human Rights Report categorizes this as a form of human trafficking and modern-day slavery. In June of 2022, health authorities in Cuba decided to suspend spraying against the mosquito that spreads the dengue virus due to fuel shortages, despite the high levels of infestation on the island. More than 3,000 cases were reported in the first 6 months of 2022. For this reason, Radio Martí host Tomás Cardoso and producer Patricia Martinez dedicated several episodes to this topic during the height of the crisis. Cubans from different cities and towns participated in the program, exposing the increase of the disease and the hardships due to the lack of medicines, doctors, and overall deficiencies in medical care. Also, the lack of attention from local authorities and the hygiene and sanitation problems that amplified with the lack of electricity nationwide. The dengue epidemic was the topic of almost 20 programs on Radio Martí and a similar number of articles on martinoticias.com written by Mr. Cardoso between June and December of 2022. The dengue fever crisis was specifically presented with health specialists, doctors, pharmacists, mothers, ill persons, and the population in general, who relayed the real situation and expressed their concerns. Audio, video, and photo testimonials of the cases of the disease were presented in the program Cuba al Día and reproduced and shared on martinoticias.com website and social media platforms. One of our longest-running programs, Cuba al Día, is a program that delves into current events, giving Cuban citizens an opportunity to bring to light the issues they confront on a daily basis. For this reason, for giving voice to the voiceless and presenting the truth about the real Cuba, this year's OCB Burke Award winners are Tomás Cardoso and Patricia Martinez.
I would like to thank the United States Global Media Agency and the Office of Cuba Broadcasting for this award. The special series about the health crisis in Cuba, and especially the dengue situation last year, is a sample of the importance of the journalistic work in the Office of Cuba Broadcasting for the residents of the island, basically because the official media did not report the reality about the crisis. The Cuban authorities has always avoided giving the true figures of the number of the dengue patients, as well as the problem with the fumigation, the accumulation of the garbage, and the lack of the medicine. And we assume this responsibility with our sources inside Cuba. Thanks again for the agency for this recognition.
It is an incredible opportunity to be here in front of you receiving this award. And I want to thank the United States Global Media and OCV for the great teamwork and collaboration we have. I want to thank my daughter and my friend for their support. Through my work, I have met many people, some of them are in prison. They are my inspiration. And finally, I want to say two words that a friend of mine who lives in Cuba tells me every day. It's about misinformation. My friend says, hit them hard, dale duro. Thank you.
Congratulations on this critical work. As the COVID-19 pandemic continued into its third year, so too did the Chinese government's attempts to control access to uncensored facts. Fed up with the lies and draconian lockdown policies, waves of demonstrations erupted in several major Chinese cities. As the government responded and protests grew, audiences throughout China depended on USAGM-funded reporting for the latest developments. Here now to recognize those journalists who provided critical, full-scale, and comprehensive coverage is Radio Free Asia President Bei Feng.
Last fall, scores of protesters took to the streets in China to rally against the oppressive zero-COVID rules they had been subjected to for 3 years. With blank sheets of paper in hand, their numbers grew as more joined in across the country to voice their frustrations. RFA Mandarin's Asia-Pacific Report, APR, and digital teams wasted no time rushing to cover what became the largest public protests China has seen in decades. APR's journalists kept audiences in China informed with breaking news coverage and in-depth reporting, featuring the voices and perspectives of protesters from numerous cities. Meanwhile, the digital team continuously updated RFA's Mandarin social platforms, publishing more than 200 tweets in 1 week. Both teams had to contend with steep time differences and tight deadlines, working in different time zones with team members scattered across the globe. For RFA's audience in China, these efforts paid off. The two teams were the first to report on the fast-evolving developments in China, hours before other major media outlets and newswires caught wind. We saw record-breaking engagement and web traffic for RFA Mandarin social platforms, as audiences distrustful of state media and censored Chinese social platforms turned to RFA in droves. In just 1 day, an RFA Mandarin Twitter video received 1 million views, and within days, they gained 74,000 new followers. As one Mandarin-speaking commenter on YouTube said, RFA Mandarin serves as the most reassuring voice in the past 10 years. It is this sentiment and the team's impactful work that perfectly exemplify the Burke Awards and RFA's mission. In a moment of crisis, the two teams, with members based on 4 continents, overcame obstacles to be a lifeline to the truth at a crucial time. For that reason, I'm proud to announce RFA's Burke Award winners are RFA Mandarin's APR and digital teams. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, my name is Cici Zhang. I'm digital content producer with Digital Team.
And my name is Jerry Zhao. I'm a senior editor with APR team. It is our honor to accept this year's Burke Award on behalf of RFA Mandarin's APR and digital teams.
We rose to meet a moment in bringing the Chinese people reliable news about a situation of historic significance. We worked with incredible speed and coordination across time zones, and context to make sure our audience could have an accurate picture of what was happening.
This teamwork was critical, as these teams needed to match the efforts of Chinese censors who were scrambling sensitive content from platforms and the Chinese internet. In times of crisis and difficulty, our audiences rely on RFA to fill a critical gap. It is then, during that hour of need, when our work as journalists matters most.
I'm proud to represent these two incredible teams, whose members deserve all the credit for this honor.
We also want to express our gratitude to the U.S. Agency for Global Media and offer our congratulations to the other Burke Award winners from RFA's sister networks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the RFA Mandarin Services Asia Pacific Reporting and Digital teams. A crucial priority for USAGM is to provide foreign audiences with fact-based, reliable news and information about the United States and its democratic systems. Thanks to the work of this next group of journalists, audiences throughout the Middle East were provided with an engaging and innovative glimpse into the American democratic process. Here now is Middle East Broadcasting Network's acting president, Hassan Shwiki.
I'm incredibly proud to recognize MBN's News, Digital and Creative Services teams for this year's David Burke Awards. Free and fair elections are rare in the Middle East and North Africa. Countries may say they have elections, but they are often filled with voter suppression, corruption and intimidation, and the outcome is known well before the first vote is cast. To these authoritarian regimes, elections represent political theater and not an expression of the nation's will. MBN's coverage of US elections is critical to showing democracy in action. This was never more apparent than in MBN's coverage of the 2022 US midterm elections. MBN's team of correspondents and analysts provided context and analysis, which was vital to understanding the midterms. MBN's coverage profiled the most tightly contested races and the issues that were driving voters to the polls. Democratic and Republican strategists, as well as constitutional scholars, joined MBN's coverage to provide insight and analysis of why these races were important. Al-Hurra.com created a dedicated landing page for the midterm elections and collaborated with Al-Hurra News to provide daily updates for readers. Al-Hurra.com developed an interactive and comprehensive section on the site that answered more questions about the elections. The digital platform also explored the role of Arab Americans as a voting bloc and those American of Arab origins running for office. On November 8th, Al-Hurra's correspondents reported nationwide from 9 states and the District of Columbia, contributing to more than 30 hours of continuous live coverage. Each hour of the broadcast was dedicated to a different topic related to the elections, such as abortion, the economy, immigration, the U.S. support for Ukraine, and U.S. foreign policy in general. Al-Hurra's coverage used interviews with voters, interactive explanatory reports, infographics, and next-generation technology as tools to inform audiences of the significance of these elections and what is driving voters to the polls. MBN's Creative Services team painstakingly recreated the Capitol's rotunda through photos to use as backdrop for the extensive augmented reality production that was heavily incorporated into Al Hurra's coverage. The network used state-of-the-art technology to allow anchors to seemingly appear in the rotunda while they shared statistics and history about the states and updating viewers with election returns. As results were being announced, Al Hurra and AlHurra.com updated audiences on the battle for the House and the Senate and provided analysis of how the configuration of the Congress would impact President Biden's agenda for the rest of his term. As I observed MBN's coverage, I was very impressed by what this dedicated and talented team had created. I say with great confidence that MBN's coverage of the elections were better than any other Arabic network, hands down. Thanks to these talented and dedicated journalists and designers, our coverage was as good or even better than any other media outlet in the US or the world. For all these reasons, this year's MBN Burke Awards winner is the News, Digital and Creative Services teams.
On behalf of myself and MBN's news team, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to the USAGM for awarding us the David Burke Award for Distinguished Journalism. It's an honor to receive this recognition. This award not only motivates us to continue our strive for excellence, but it also reinforces our commitment to MBN's mission and goals. And to the news team, you are an amazing group of journalists. Your hard work, dedication, commitment, and professionalism is inspiring and motivating. I am proud to lead such a great team, and I have full confidence that together we will achieve more success and win more awards. Thank you all.
Dear esteemed colleagues, on behalf of the creative and brand management team, we are honored and thrilled to receive this award. To us, this recognition holds a very special place in our hearts because of what it stands for. It's truly a privilege. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to USAGM for bestowing this honor upon us. I must also acknowledge the instrumental role played by our acting president, Hassan Shweiki, the leadership team, and all MBN team members in shaping this coverage and driving us towards success. Their trust, devotion, and experience have been invaluable to us. This award serves as a reminder that hard work always pays off, and we are even more motivated to continue striving for excellence in all that we do. Once again, we are grateful for this recognition, and we will aim for a lot more. Thank you.
It's a true honor to be part of this incredible leadership team. We're humbled and grateful to receive the USAGM David Burke Distinguished Journalism Awards in 2022. We highly value this recognition, not just for its prestige, but more for what it stands for. Our team worked tirelessly to bring last year's midterm elections to our audiences, and this award recognizes their efforts. An outstanding team effort from colleagues across departments was essential to our success. The online team produced a ton of high-quality content for all the digital platforms, allowing us to reach a larger audience and make a bigger impact. Not only did they cover the elections in real time, but they also provided full context with numerous explainers throughout. We thank USAGM for their unwavering support, encouragement, and belief in us, and this honor is one that we will cherish for a lifetime. It inspires us to continue working with renewed vigor and dedication. Thank you.
Congratulations to the MBN 2022 midterm election team. Our final two awards recognize work done often behind the scenes to ensure that audiences have the tools they need to safely and securely access our fact-based reporting, and that USAGM journalists can safely do their work. The Open Technology Fund, USAGM's newest grantee, funds internet freedom technologies at every stage of the development cycle, from proof of concept to on-the-ground deployments to multi-year efforts. It's committed to developing and supporting free and open source software and making sure that communities that sustain them have the resources and support they need to maintain and secure these tools. Here to recognize an individual who works at the intersection of technology and social causes is Open Technology Fund President Laura Cunningham.
Today, I am delighted to nominate Rami Rauf for the 22nd Burke Awards. Rami joined OTF in 2021 and currently serves as OTF's technologist. In this role, Rami helps to shape OTF's efforts to support anti-censorship and secure communication technologies to advance internet freedom globally. Prior to joining OTF, Rami helped to develop digital security strategies for NGOs and members of the media, as well as creating rapid response and operational plans for human rights emergency response teams in the Middle East and North Africa. He has contributed to the testing and localization of privacy apps and the development of organizational privacy protocols. Over the last year at OTF, Rami has helped to lead our efforts to better support the sustainability of critical free and open source internet freedom technologies. For the past decade, OTF has helped people around the world exercise their fundamental rights online through innovative open source technologies. Today, many of these tools are the foundation of the free and open internet. Free and open source software is an increasingly vital resource in nearly every industry, and ensuring the health and security of FOSS software is critical to internet freedom and to the modern economy. Despite the crucial role that FOSS technology plays in the internet freedom ecosystem, FOSS tools are perpetually underfunded and undersupported. In response to this crucial need for supporting the most critical open source technologies, Rami has spearheaded the creation of the FOSS Sustainability Fund, OTF's newest mechanism to support the long-term maintenance of FOSS projects and the communities that sustain them. This initiative is particularly significant because many of the tools used by USAGM and their audiences rely on open source technologies to safely share and access content. In addition, supporting the proper maintenance of open source software helps to ensure that all users have better access to privacy and security tools, contributing to a better internet experience for all, regardless of a location or whether or not an individual is at risk. I am very pleased to have the opportunity to recognize Rami's incredible efforts to support the sustainability of critical FOSS software and the larger FOSS ecosystem with OTF's new FOSS Sustainability Fund.
I would like to thank Laura and the entire OTF team for nominating me for the 22nd Annual Burke Award. It is a great honor for me to accept this award from USAGM. I have been proud to serve as a technologist for OTF, where I have helped spearhead efforts to support sustainable free and open source software ecosystems. It has been estimated that free and open source software constitutes at least 70% of any given modern software solution. The FOSS ecosystem plays a critical role, not only in shaping the internet, but also it enables all communities to aspire for better security, privacy, and healthier online experience. The FOSS ecosystem is a major driving force, powering the infrastructure, apps, and tools used by the internet freedom community and users at risk in repressive environments. Many technologies used today by USAGM to engage safely with their audience rely on open source technologies. These tools have helped make accessing the content, protecting journalists, and protecting their sources possible in the face of repressive censorship and surveillance. As part of my role with OTF, we are working with many communities to support a diverse and vibrant, sustainable ecosystem for free and open source software. Every individual, no matter their country, deserves free and open access to journalism and information. It is through open source circumvention and privacy-enhancing technologies that journalists, civil society, and a wider spectrum of people can share their experience and their challenges. Our hope is that our work continues to support the brave efforts of journalists on the ground. OTF is proud to support the development and maintenance of tools that aid journalists and citizens alike, wherever they are based. I am very grateful for this recognition as part of OTF efforts to advance internet freedom globally. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations on this really crucial work. The lifeblood of USAGM's business is the hundreds of hours of radio, TV, and digital content gathered, produced, stored, and distributed every day. Ensuring that this content, along with all of the agency's communications, personally identifiable information, and other sensitive data, is secured and protected is a key responsibility of the Office of Technology, Services, and Innovation. Here to present an award to a group of individuals whose efforts are protecting the lives of agency personnel and the integrity of USAGM's trusted content is Chief Information Officer J.R. Reeves.
The lifeblood of USAGM's business is the radio, TV, and digital content produced and distributed every day. One of the most important responsibilities I have as USAGM's Chief Information Officer is to secure and protect that content, along with the agency's communications, personally identifiable information or PII, and other sensitive data. USAGM's journalistic success has made us frequent targets of cyber harassment, hacking, impersonation, and other incidents that, if successful, could undermine the credibility and potentially even jeopardize the lives of journalists. Every week, our cybersecurity team detects and stops hundreds of such threats, thus ensuring that audiences can reliably access authentic USAGM news and information. As malicious actors search for ways to infiltrate our systems, we seek ways to bolster our defenses. One important new innovation is called Zero Trust Architecture, or ZTA, which moves IT defenses from static, traditional network-based perimeters to a focus on users, assets, and resources. ZTA is particularly important in a network like ours that includes remote users, mobile devices, and cloud-based systems located well outside of our traditional network. While ZTA is now a requirement for all federal agencies, many agencies like USAGM need help to fund this example because it is extremely expensive. To address this need, TSI's and OCIO's ZTA project team last year successfully applied for a $6.2 million grant from GSA's Technology Modernization Fund, or TMF, making our ZTA project one of only 38 to receive such funding since this began in 2017. The application process is extremely competitive and requires demonstrating both the need for funding and the ability to deliver results. With this funding, USAGM will be able to reduce the risk of identity fraud, unauthorized access to our IT systems, and help protect the integrity of USAGM's trusted content, and most importantly, help protect the lives of agency personnel and contributors. I am enormously proud of this accomplishment by our ZTA project team. While I must thank a lot of contributors across TSI and OCIO for their input and help with this project and obtaining the TMF funding, the heavy lifting was done by the following key individuals. This year's TSI OCIO recipient of the Burke Award, Ms. Liliana Nunez, our Deputy CIO, Kazi Fazal, our specialist in the IT security policy team, Ms. Mary Ann Bowen, the project manager for the team, Adam Belita, our systems admin from our platforms team, Jim Russell, head of our global networks division. Also sharing in this award are the director of our IT security policy division and the director of our IT security operations team. There are other individuals who certainly want to remain private from this announcement. We want to respect that, but also I certainly want to recognize Amanda and Kalu for allowing us to pursue this opportunity. It was a lot of long nights and efforts to make sure this accomplishment shows the value that TSI and OCIO bring to our agency mission.
Thank you to the agency for acknowledging the OCIO team's work. We truly appreciate it. I also want to thank my teammates from the OCIO team who spent countless days and hours planning this project and submittal to the Technology Modernization Fund with a final award to USAGM of $6.2 million. It truly was a team effort. We are very excited to move forward with the Zero Trust IT Security Architecture project, as it is going to allow us to continue to keep our journalists safe, along with protecting our agency data and strengthening our IT security posture all around.
I appreciate this recognition of the effort our team has put into obtaining funding for the Zero Trust Architecture project. It was extremely satisfying to learn that USAGM was selected for this special funding, which will help us to greatly enhance our security posture in the future. Again, thank you.
Thanks for the recognition and funding to implement our cybersecurity zero trust architecture. It will protect the agency from hacking and protect our journalists' identities and location in a hostile foreign country. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for recognizing the team. I'm excited about the funding for our ZTA initiative, as improved IT security is vital in protecting our agency moving forward.
And there you have it, the 22nd Annual David Burke Awards. Congratulations to all of the winners and to everyone at USAGM and its networks for the work you do every day to inform, engage, and connect people around the world in support of freedom and democracy. For everyone here at USAGM, congratulations, and thanks for joining us.